Hello everybody and welcome back to the Traxion channel for what is a special video today because I have my hands on another brand new preview build of F1 22. Now this preview build contains a little peek into many of the things you guys are excited about when it comes to this game. So we have F1 Life, we have the player hub, we have the store, the brand store, all of that stuff, and we also have of course Supercars and the Pirelli Hot Lap challenges. Now I thought the best thing to do in this video would be to give you guys a little introduction into all of these things, show you how they're probably going to work, and also try out the supercars and try out the different styles of challenges you're going to get as you play through the career mode with the Pirelli Hot Lap challenges alongside. So let's do it. So let's start by taking a look at F1 Life, and I'm sure a lot of you are wondering what the heck is F1 Life, and it's a very good question. F1 Life is essentially a hub where you can come and customize your character, you can customize your clothing, your race suit, you can also customize your house, your wallpaper, your sofas, and you can put supercars in different bays across your glorious mansion that we're all very jealous of. I don't really know what else it is beyond that. That is kind of the gist of it. So, you know, it's not necessarily something that's going to really add a huge amount of gameplay to the actual experience. But it looks cool and it's a bit interesting. You can also go and visit your friends' hubs as well, I believe, once that's up and running. So F1 Life is a lot more about the lifestyle and a lot more about the kind of collectibles, a lot less about the gameplay itself. By the way, if you want to know how you can purchase clothes and accessories and all that kind of stuff, we head over to the player hub. You have an item shop where you can use Bitcoin to buy items such as clothing, hoodies, shoes, all of that kind of stuff. You can buy Bitcoin for money. We also have a brand shop, which is kind of for the elite brands within the sphere, so you can go for Puma, Sparko, Beats. They've got different types of accessories. Again, you can buy all of that with Bitcoin. This is a very cool addition for people who are into fashion, into branded clothing and stuff like that. Again, not really affecting the gameplay, let's be honest. Podium Pass works the same as previous F1 games, so if you understand how battle passes and stuff like that works, it's exactly the same. You level up and you have a free Podium Pass where you unlock accessories and stuff as you'd go, but you can also purchase a VIP Podium Pass which will give you elite products or premium products that you cannot get through the free version. There are also challenges as well that go along with it, standard challenges and VIP challenges as well if you want to pay for it. So that's the same thing as usual with Podium Pass. Now the final bit of F1 Life I need to show you is the Supercar section. Now there are 8 supercars in the game to choose from, plus 2 safety cars if you get the Ultimate Edition. The safety cars are just based on the existing cars anyway, but you purchase these cars using Supercar Tokens and then they can be displayed in your house, as I'll show you in a second, and also used in time trial mode. But how do you acquire Supercar Tokens? Simple answer, by driving miles in the game. So you drive a certain number of miles, you will receive a Supercar token. It will then tell you how you can go about unlocking the next one. So it might be drive a certain number of miles in F2 or drive a certain number of laps in F1. You then complete that challenge and you will unlock another Supercar token, which as you can see now, you can spend on a car. So I'm going to buy the Aston Martin DB11 with my Supercar token. I want to have my Aston, actually you know what? I want to have my Aston in the main front room here, and boom, it's in the living room, like magic. And then if we go to the locked supercar section, you can see here are the cars that we don't own yet. We need to get more tokens, and on the right you can see exactly how to get them. So drive 100 miles in F1, 30 miles in F2, or 70 miles in, I believe, supercars to unlock those. The thing is though, I don't want to get bogged down in F1 Life because it's not really my kind of thing. I'm sure a lot of you just want to see what's actually happening in the game, what you can actually drive. And the way supercars are included in the actual game is completely different. So when you play through career mode, just like a normal F1 game, you come across Pirelli Hot Lap challenges at the start of certain Grand Prix. Now, there are 6 different types of challenges here. You've got average speed zones, drift events, you also have checkpoint challenges like you can see here, Autocross, time attack, and you also have one called Rival Duel. Now in the career mode you should get the option to complete these challenges at the appropriate Grand Prix, but in our preview build we actually have access to all of the challenges through a separate Pirelli Hot Laps mode. You can see it here on the menu. Now this may well be a feature in the real game. You may have all of the Pirelli Hot Lap challenges to try out straight away. I'm not quite sure, or maybe they're going to be locked and then you unlock them as you progress through your career. I'm really not sure about that one yet. However, because we can try them all, I think I'm going to go through each of these different challenges and tell you a little bit about what they actually are. Let's try out the average speed zone first and give that one a go. So we're going to go for Australian Grand Prix in the Mercedes-AMG. We're going to go challenging, 3 different difficulty, normal, challenging and hard. Now as you can see at the top right, we have 3 challenge targets. So gold, you need to average a speed of 93 miles an hour, silver is 90, and bronze is 86. So it's a little bit like a Gran Turismo license test where you're trying to achieve a certain level. Now these levels change depending on the difficulty level. So if you pick easy difficulty, the targets are lower. If you pick the hardest difficulty, you get less assist options, and your targets are a lot higher. So, average speed zone, it's simply a case of trying to drive as fast as you can through a certain sector of track and keep a high average speed. So let's jump in and give it a go. 3 attempts in the GTR Pro. This is, of course, your first look at the supercars in action. Let's try and take third gear through here. It's not nearly as fast as it's going to be in a Formula 1 car in the dry. Over the curb. Wet curbs, very slippery, of course. Now, I've only had a small shot just to kind of make sure everything's working. And what I can say is it's not a hardcore sim. You know, these cars don't feel like they would if you were to drive them on, say, Assetto Corsa or a Factor 2 or something like that. 92.5, almost a gold, but not quite. But yeah, the force feedback works. They feel a lot heavier and less downforce than the Formula 1 cars, which is good. In that sense, it's realistic. But the physics engine is not a hardcore simulator, put it that way. Pirelli Hot Laps, by the way, is a realistic thing. If you're watching this and thinking, this isn't realistic Formula 1, what on earth? Pirelli Hot Laps is a thing. It's organised by Pirelli and Formula 1. You can pay and get passenger laps from current and former F1 drivers in these supercars, demonstrating the Pirelli tyres, and also just giving you a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And since you are playing through the career in this game of an F1 driver, this is the kind of thing an F1 driver would do before a Grand Prix, just without the checkpoints. And probably without the terrible driving. We got silver, almost gold, but we'll move on to the next type of challenge. We're going to do the Imola checkpoint challenge in the McLaren 720S. The checkpoint challenge is a classic checkpoint, so you get more time as you cross over the checkpoints. You have to try and drive as far as possible before the timer runs out, and that's about it. Now, I need to brake earlier than I would if I was racing on ACC or something in GT3s because this is a road car, so let's see if that's simulated. So I'm going to brake nice and early. Bit of a lock up again. It feels okay, actually. You can actually drift it nicely through the first checkpoint. There we go. Felt alright. Can really chuck the car around. You do see the drivers in real life doing the Pirelli Hot Laps, and they do, you know, chuck the car around. They get sideways. They have a bit of fun with it. And it actually simulates it quite nicely. Like, the physics in this particular example are feeling really good. The worst corner on the circuit by far. Down the hill. Actually, worked out okay. Another track limit warning. Multiple warnings. I need to be careful. You cannot cut the track as much as I thought you might be able to get away with. I'm just going to drift instead. We're going to smash the target. 5 seconds to go. We're going to get 10,000 meters. Happy days. It's going to be our first gold of the video. Okay, next up, we're going to try Autocross. Now, I haven't tried this one yet. We're in the McLaren Artura. Navigate through some carefully placed cones as quickly as possible in an agility challenge. That sounds right up my street. I'm up for that. Standing start this time. Now, we've just got to go through the gates, I presume. So it's a bit like a slalom, actually. Now, you also may be wondering, how do these supercars feel with a controller? And actually, this is my first time... Oh, I've hit a cone. Oh, I've hit 2 cones. This is bad. This is my first time with a wheel. The 2 or 3 events I've done previously were actually with a controller. And honestly, it's not too bad. You do need to use assists with a controller. This is actually quite a fun challenge. It's a whole lap, I think, to do 49 gates. I've had huge amounts of time penalties, so I'll be surprised if I even manage to get a bronze in this one, to be fair. There's the finish line. 46 gates, so not quite a full lap. And I did manage to get bronze somehow, so there's your Autocross event. Next up, we have Drift in the DP11 that we purchased earlier. So this is about, as usual, speed, duration, and angle. Brand new, of course, like much of this, to the F1 franchise. Now, you have 180 seconds to complete the challenge. This is one that I did actually do with the controller before. Let's see what this feels like. So you can get it sideways on a straight. It feels kind of like a normal car so far, to be honest, which is good. Maybe on a controller there's some sort of assists to make it more drifty. This actually feels more similar than I expected. I'll actually try and do some drifting then. Nice and controllable. Could have kept it going a bit longer if I'd had the better speed and angle, but there you go. Good start. Let's try and drift on the straights then. Get a bit of a Scandinavian flick going. Terrible entry, but use the power to get it round. That's okay. Honestly, this feels good. I was a bit nervous about it, given the strangeness of the feeling on the controller. I don't know if that is if there's a different physics engine with the controller, if it changes the settings. I don't understand why, but honestly, with a wheel, it's drifting okay, guys. I'm not very good at drifting, and I'm managing it, and it doesn't feel that unnatural. It just feels like the car's been set up a little bit for it. Gold it is. We move on to the next. We found a time attack in a Ferrari. It says Miami, but it's very clearly Austria, so that's probably just a graphics glitch here. You've got 2 laps to do, and we have a challenge target. So time attack, I can imagine what this is. It's literally a case of completing the 2 laps in as fast as possible time. And we'll also get an idea of how the Ferrari handles. Pretty good in the brakes, bit of a lock-up, not so bad over the curb. One thing I would say is the cars feel a little strange when you actually slow down for the corner and you're kind of, you know, trying to get them safely rotated. There's a bit of a strange thing going on with the physics where it almost feels like there's something in the car holding it back. It won't quite let you put down the power in a natural way. And the steering kind of goes funny. It almost feels like there's engine braking happening when it shouldn't be. And that is worth reiterating. It is a preview build, so anything in this game is subject to change. And obviously I'm not going to be judging it too hard, I'm just giving you an idea and some impressions of what the modes themselves are actually going to include. And I've got to say, it's been a lot of fun so far, even if a little frivolous. You don't really need it, but I mean, if you're having fun with it, then why not? I had a little bit of that thing happening there mid-corner. It almost feels like, even when you're flat out on the power, it feels like the car is still braking a little bit mid-corner. It's like there's some system trying to keep you on the road that won't let you use the back end or use the power to drive out of a corner. It's like, no, you need to slow down more. I'm going to safely hold you in place, but I want to use the power to actually get the car rotated. This thing just wants to go sideways all the time, and I'm not really fussed about lap time. I just want to actually have a bit of fun with it. But anyway, that is time trial or time attack. You get the idea. Okay, the final type of challenge then is the rival duel. There's one here for the Dutch Grand Prix in the Mercedes-AMG GTR again. We're back in the first car, this time in the dry. I love Zandvoort, so I'm very intrigued to see what this is all about, and I'm guessing we're going to be racing against someone. This event actually takes place over 3 rounds with varying starting positions, so you've just got to keep on winning in order to try and get more medals. So, fair enough, that's cool, let's give it a go. This car already feels so much better in the dry than it did in the wet. Here we go, round the banking. We've just unlocked, as you can see there on the left, Supercar Tokens. So, that is because we've driven 70 miles in Supercars, and we have a token unlocked, so we can go and buy another Supercar. Anyway, that's round 1 of 3 completed in the duels. I'm going to go and try and win all 3. There it is, 2 out of 2. Big lead as well. This one's fairly easy, actually. Okay, last one. Let's try and make it a win. This time we're actually starting from behind, so we're going to have to make an overtake. Now, this type of challenge is definitely not present within the real Pirelli Hot Lap experience. This is possibly the only way you're actually going to get to race supercars in this game. Race anything other than F1 and F2 cars when you're doing these duels, when you play through the career mode. But that is the move for the lead, and that is going to be 3 wins from 3. It all kind of reminds me a little bit of missions in Gran Turismo 7 and license tests. Very similar kind of vibe. Either way, there you have it, all the different game modes available within the Pirelli mode of F1 22, which is also available within the career mode of F1 22. That's a bit confusing. So I would love to hear what you guys think of F1 Life based on this preview build. Are you excited for it? Do you think it's a bit of a waste of time? What are your thoughts on the Pirelli Hot Lap challenges and the supercars? Make sure you let us know in the comments down below. Subscribe to the Traxion channel for more content like this, and of course we will bring you all of the latest news about F1 22 as we get it. But until I see you next time, thank you very much for watching, keep it pinned, and have a great day.